Walking is man's best medicine. So said the father of medicine, Hippocrates, and I concur. I agree wholeheartedly that walking is man's best medicine. I want to tell you a true story. It's actually two true stories. And I spoke to a family member of mine yesterday, and she has a long history of cigarette smoking, which pretty much ruined her heart. She's had multiple heart attacks, and which led to cardiomyopathy, which is a weakening of the heart muscle, and has history of irregular heartbeat and what's called ventricular tachycardia and pacemaker issues. So she's a young woman, probably 7-ish, and she has a defibrillator, pacemaker, stents, multiple stents, cholesterol problems, high blood pressure problems, to name a few. And it's really, I'm sure she would agree with me, it's related to habits, cigarette smoking, poor eating, no exercise. Okay, sounds familiar? Anyway, yesterday we had a talk, and she was telling me that she's on a very expensive drug for her cardiomyopathy because her ejection fraction, which measures the strength, the muscle strength of the heart, was 25% some years ago. And she was proud to tell me that it is now 45%. Now, I know from all my years of working in critical care, cardiologists are usually quite happy if your ejection fraction is greater than 50, but they would say 65 or greater is just absolutely perfect. So she's at 45 and she's very, very happy. But she was very proud to tell me that she's on a very expensive drug. I don't even remember the name of it. I'd never heard of it. They're always coming up with new drugs, and I've never heard of it. But she was proud to tell me that the drug cost $1,000 for 1 month's supply. But because she's on Medicare, she only pays $8. And she told me that it's because of this drug why her ejection fraction has come up from 25 to 45, which she's very happy about, because when your ejection fraction is that low, you're quite symptomatic. You have absolutely no energy. You're always tired, short of breath, and just feel blah and horrible most times. No energy to do anything. And oftentimes you do have irregular heartbeat on a regular basis, even with a pacemaker. So I was very happy to hear that. But I went on to tell her that drug is not the answer. Yes, you should take the medications your doctor has prescribed. That's definitely not what I'm saying. I'm not saying she should not take the drugs that her doctor has prescribed. Absolutely, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm pretty sure that her cardiologist has told her, not once, not twice, but multiple times, that walking should be part of her natural daily regimen. I know my doctor did. I had cardiomyopathy. My ejection fraction was 35%. Okay? And after my doctor did a procedure called cardiac ablation on me, he said, I'm taking you off all drugs, not even aspirin, and I want you to walk every day. That's what he told me. He said, I want you to eat healthy, walk every day, cut out coffee or tea or anything with caffeine, and take stress out of your life. And that's what I did. And the last time I had an echocardiogram done, my ejection fraction was greater than 65. And I know it still is there because I don't get short of breath. I'm not lightheaded. I feel great and I feel energetic. I feel good in my body, and I don't get palpitations unless, of course, I overdo things, and I'll get a little bit. Like if I don't sleep adequately, or I'm overly stressed, or drink too much caffeine or anything like that. And for the most part, I don't do that. So I promptly grabbed the opportunity to remind my family member again, because I have spoken to her multiple times about the importance of incorporating exercise, namely walking, man's best medicine. I once again grabbed the opportunity to encourage her to walk most days of the week for half an hour, 4 days, half an hour, to get her heart muscle as strong as it possibly can, because certainly the drug worked for her, but can you imagine combining the drug with some exercise, walking, and eating healthy? I've also been at her about eating healthy, so I grabbed the opportunity again to encourage her to eat healthy, walk 4 days a week for at least half an hour, get adequate sleep, de-stress her life if she wants to live a long, healthy, and happy life. So she said she would start. I also took the opportunity to tell her another story, which I'm going to share with you. This is another family member of mine who has had multiple heart attacks, had quadruple heart bypass, has had 2 strokes, insulin dependent diabetes, thyroid problems, cholesterol problems, high blood pressure, vitamin D deficiency, constipation, shortness of breath, to name a few. This is that family member of mine who had all those situations going for him. I recently saw him and spent some time with him, and decided to spend a day observing what it is he does on a daily basis, because this man is off most of his blood pressure medicines, off most of his cholesterol medicine, or I think they have him on cholesterol medicine prophylactically, not that his cholesterol is high, but he's on about 1/3 of the blood pressure pills that he was on. They have him on no heart medicine. He was on Imdur, and what else was he on for the heart? He was on metoprolol, Imdur, and something else for the strength, the muscle strength of the heart. And I believe he was on digoxin or something similar. He's off all of that. And I'm going to tell you why. He's off diabetes pills. And he was actually on insulin at one time. And he's completely off diabetes pills and insulin. On very low dose of blood pressure pills. They've kept him, like I said, on his cholesterol pill prophylactically or preventatively. He takes Plavix because he's had a stroke before and heart attacks, a blood thinner. And he still takes a thyroid pill. And I believe they give him vitamin D3 once every 2 weeks. No more constipation. This is how he did it. This gentleman developed a love for walking, and I spent a few days at his house, and one day I decided to just follow him, just do whatever he does, because he leaves his house in the mornings at about 7:30. He doesn't have a job. and he doesn't get home until 8 o'clock or so at night. And this fella uses a walker to get around with. So what is he up to? So I found out that he walks 3 to 5 miles a day. He just walks around. He lives in Brooklyn, and he just walks around Brooklyn. He goes to thrift shops. He goes to soup kitchens. He meets people in the street. He talks to them. He just walks and walks and walks and walks and walks. I had a hard time keeping up with him. 3 to 5 miles a day. This is a dude that had 2 strokes. One side was almost completely flaccid, and still that left foot still drags. But he pushes that walker like you'd never believe it. And he walks, and he doesn't get short of breath. The last time he was hospitalized, they did an echocardiogram on him, and guess what? His ejection fraction is greater than 65. He is off insulin, off metformin, which he was on, and he was also on glyburide, off all diabetes drugs. And like I said, he's on about 1/3 of his blood pressure pills. And that's because he eats junk a lot. I'm sure if he would cut back on the junk, he probably would be off all the diabetes pills, because I think he was actually off it, but the last time he went to the hospital, they put him back on, I think, 2. What is my point? Walking is man's best medicine. I find that even people who don't eat healthy, don't eat the best, actually. They eat somewhat healthy, but, they still eat crappy. But if they have a habit of walking, a lot of the issues they have are reversed. So if one would combine healthy eating, and I'm not necessarily talking about just plant-based eating, which plant-based eating is what I recommend, but not overeating the meat, not overdoing the junk, but eat moderately healthy and walk at least half an hour 4 days a week, it could reverse a lot of health issues that we have. So, once again, I'm reminding you that walking is man's best medicine, and our food is our medicine, and our medicine is our food. Those are two quotes from Hippocrates, who is called the father of medicine. Remember, we have one body, which is a temple of God, and it is our responsibility to take the best care of it. If we don't, who will? Take care, and God bless you.